Welcome back, Wogglers. So we're going through all of our different workflow triggers today. If you haven't watched the workflow overview, I would highly recommend watching the workflow overview first and then coming back to this video or watching any of the other ones. So we're specifically talking about workflows that are triggered off of a record action in Zoho CRM today. So our example is we want an alert to go out to our finance team every time an account rating is updated to acquired. All right, so let's go make a workflow. Hit that setup gear up in the top right corner. Under automation, you're going to click workflow rules, and let's create a rule. Since this is an account record being updated, we're going to make this off of the accounts. We're going to give it a name. You can name it whatever you want. I like to put the module that it's based off of first, and then kind of a description of a simplified description of what it's doing. We're going to call this one demo. And then you can put in a longer description if you like in the description field. All right, so when do you want this to happen? Well, we want this to be based off of a record action because we want it to happen when an account is marked as acquired. So for us, maybe that's on edit. Maybe we happen to know that the way that our process works and everything is that we're never going to have the rating when we first put an account in here. It's just never going to happen. So create or edit doesn't make sense because we know that that's never going to happen on create. It's only ever going to happen on edit. So let's choose edit this time. We've got a couple of extra options for the edit field. So we do have this repeat this workflow whenever an account is edited. So if we do that every single time you ever make an edit to that account, it is going to trigger this workflow. Now, the actions that you want to happen don't necessarily need to happen every single time an account is edited, but you'll have to put criteria to prevent that from happening. So if for some reason you wanted something to happen every single time an account is edited, for example, if you wanted that information that's being edited on the account to populate through to its associated contact records, you would want that to happen every time an account is edited, right? So that's a good example of being able to check that box. Or in our example, if you can mark an account as acquired and then move it forward to something else, and then at any point it could go back to acquired, and when that happens, you want the alert to happen again, then you would want to choose the whenever an account is edited, because if it meets that criteria again of being marked as required, you want the alert to go out. That's going to be a repeat. All right, you also have the option to do any field at all. So if you edit anything at all on the account, it's going to trigger this workflow. You can do specific fields. You can also do any field in a specific section. So, for example, if you wanted to update all of the contacts that are associated with an account with updated billing information for the address information, you could say if any field in the address information section on the account is updated, then I want the contact to be updated. But you don't want it to happen every time anything in the finance section is updated. That doesn't matter to you. It's only that address information. Then that would be a good use of any field in a specific section. For our use case, in our example today, we're going to use a specific field because we don't really want this alert to go out anytime any field or anytime any field in the section that the rating field is in. We only want it to happen when that rating field is updated. All right, so we're going to choose rating. And so from here, we get even more options, right? So when the rating is modified to any value, so modified at all, then it will trigger a set of actions. But that's not quite true for our situation. It's a specific value that we want. So we can say it's modified to the value of acquired. Some other actions here is we can say a value which is not equal to, a value starting with. So for example, if you didn't have anything else starting with A in there, you could say it starts with A, or a value ending with. This mostly works best if you have a pick list of things and there are certain suffixes or prefixes you use in that pick list to designate different things. but they're all kind of grouped together, if that makes sense. You could use those. Containing basically means if it contains a specific information. So if you wanted to use this on a phone field, and the value in the phone field contained a specific area code, you could use containing. Or if you update it to empty, or if you update it to not empty. So if it was empty and you put a value in it, then this would trigger the actions. Or if it wasn't empty and then it got updated to empty, it would trigger a set of actions, right? We're going to stick with rating is modified to acquired. And then from there, we're going to get into criteria and then actually creating the actions, which is another video. But I hope you enjoyed this one and it answered some questions for you. Have a great day. Woggle woggle.